You are all welcome to today's news analysis. This is not noise. This is not rumor. This is serious global politics, where power, justice, and consequences collide. If you care about Nigeria, if you care about fairness, and if you truly care about what is happening to Nnamdi Kanu, you need to listen carefully, and you need to stay till the end. Reports emerging from multiple sources suggest a shift in the geopolitical chessboard in West Africa. According to these accounts, US President Donald Trump has allegedly taken an unusual personal interest in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the controversial leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The claim is extraordinary, that Trump has demanded Kanu's immediate release from Nigerian custody, and that he has reached out to Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré with an urgent message: prepare your forces for war if Nigeria's government does not comply. Before we go deep, please subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss critical updates like this. This channel breaks news with sense, not emotion. We analyze power, not propaganda. Now, let's begin. Nigeria has never been far from political tension, but the current convergence of domestic unrest, separatist movements, and international interventions marks a period of unprecedented uncertainty. Nnamdi Kanu, who has long been a polarizing figure, is at the center of this storm. Following his arrest and life sentence for terrorism-related offenses, Kanu's detention has sparked widespread debate, both inside Nigeria and across the diaspora. Yet, a new dimension has emerged: US political interest at the highest level. What does it mean if a US president personally calls for the release of a foreign national? And what does it signify when that message is allegedly paired with military instructions for another African leader? To understand this, we must look at the context. Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré is no stranger to political tension. Having survived an alleged assassination attempt, Traoré has spent the past months consolidating authority while navigating both domestic unrest and international scrutiny. The idea that he might now be drawn into a confrontation over Nigeria's internal affairs adds a layer of complexity few analysts could have predicted. According to sources familiar with these claims, Trump's message was direct: if Nigerian President Bola Tinubu refuses to release Kanu, Traoré should prepare Burkina Faso's military for coordinated operations targeting Nigerian interests. While the specifics of these operations remain unclear, the mere suggestion of cross-border military involvement has already sent shockwaves through West African diplomatic circles. For Kanu supporters, this scenario represents hope, a dramatic intervention from a global power to secure his freedom. For critics, it raises profound questions about sovereignty, legitimacy, and the potential for escalation. And for Nigeria's government, it presents an unprecedented challenge: balancing legal authority, domestic stability, and international pressure under circumstances that could quickly escalate beyond control. Let's step back. Nnamdi Kanu's political trajectory is fraught with controversy. Seen by some as a champion of Biafran independence, and by others as a destabilizing figure, Kanu's detention was always going to be a lightning rod for dissent. In recent months, calls for clemency, intervention, or political negotiation have gained traction, particularly among diaspora groups and international sympathizers. However, the introduction of a figure like Donald Trump into this already tense equation represents a seismic shift. Trump, for his part, is no stranger to dramatic interventions, though historically, his political involvement in foreign disputes has been tempered by institutional protocols and diplomatic considerations. The claim that he would personally order Kanu's release and instruct a foreign military to prepare for conflict is therefore extraordinary, whether interpreted as strategic brinkmanship, a dramatic warning, or a genuine call for action. Traoré's position is equally precarious. Burkina Faso has navigated a delicate path since his rise to power. The alleged military directive from Trump would force him to weigh national interests against external expectations. Mobilizing forces against Nigeria, a neighboring state with substantial regional influence, could trigger a diplomatic crisis with far-reaching implications, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire West African region. Within Nigeria, reactions to these claims are already intensifying. Government officials have reportedly reiterated that Kanu's detention is a matter of national law and security, insisting that no foreign intervention will alter judicial outcomes. At the same time, political analysts warn that ignoring the claims could be dangerous. Even if Trump's message is never acted upon, the perception that it exists could embolden separatist movements and inflame domestic unrest. Analysts familiar with the region note that West Africa has historically been a complex intersection of domestic politics, military influence, and foreign power projection. Allegations of international involvement, even when unverified, can alter calculations within governments, militaries, and opposition movements alike. In this environment, rumor and reality often converge, creating conditions where perception becomes a form of power in its own right. The alleged Trump directive also raises broader questions about the interplay of law, sovereignty, and diplomacy. When a U.S. president is advocating for the release of a foreign detainee, what are the implications for Nigerian autonomy? And if Traoré is indeed being asked to consider military intervention, what are the consequences for regional stability? These are questions that, as of now, have no clear answers. In the corridors of Nigerian political power, discussions reportedly focus on three fronts: legal, security, and public perception. Legally, Kanu's life sentence is binding, though appeals and international pressure continue. Security considerations revolve around both domestic unrest and the potential for external interference. Public perception, meanwhile, is being shaped not only by official statements but by social media narratives, diaspora activism, and the circulation of videos, some of which are unverified, claiming Trump's involvement. Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, the military and government are said to be reviewing strategic options in light of these claims. While no official statements have confirmed preparations for any cross-border engagement, analysts suggest that internal communications and heightened alert levels reflect serious consideration of potential scenarios. Traoré must balance loyalty to regional stability, the defense of national interests, and the reputational implications of responding to an external figure's directive. For ordinary citizens across West Africa, this story underscores a stark reality. Leadership in the region is often subject to forces beyond their immediate borders. Decisions taken in Abuja or Ouagadougou are watched by capitals in Washington, Paris, and beyond. The ripple effects of these interactions influence local politics, security, and the daily lives of millions. Observers also note that Kanu's case has become emblematic of broader tensions in Nigeria: the struggle between federal authority and regional autonomy, the unresolved grievances surrounding the Biafran question, and the challenges of maintaining rule of law amid political activism. The introduction of international pressure, even in the form of a dramatic claim, heightens stakes for all involved. This story, if true, or even partially true, represents more than a legal dispute. It is a narrative of power, leverage, and perception. A single message from a former U.S. president, interpreted as a call to action, has the potential to reshape regional alliances, embolden separatist movements, and redefine the calculus of African leadership. Yet, caution is warranted. Sources indicate that many of these claims are circulating primarily through videos, social media posts, and private communications have all contributed to a sense of urgency, but the veracity of the claims remains unconfirmed. In politics, however, perception often rivals reality. Even unverified reports can influence decisions, encourage mobilization, and exacerbate tensions. What makes this situation even more compelling is the timing. Reports suggest that Trump's alleged directive coincides with critical domestic developments in Nigeria, rising economic pressures, security challenges in the southeast, and an increasingly vocal diaspora community calling for Kanu's freedom. The intersection of these forces creates a scenario in which even unverified claims can have profound consequences. Looking ahead, there are several critical questions. How will Nigeria respond if external pressure, real or perceived, intensifies? Will Traoré act on any directive? And if so, how will Burkina Faso balance national sovereignty with regional obligations? How will Kanu supporters interpret these claims? And could this lead to renewed agitation or protests? And finally, what role will international observers, regional organizations, and foreign powers play in mitigating potential escalation? Each of these questions carries profound consequences. History shows that in West Africa, moments of heightened tension can quickly evolve into crisis, particularly when national pride, military capacity, and political legitimacy intersect. Ultimately, this story is about more than one individual or one message. It is about the fragile balance between national sovereignty and international influence, between law and perception, between leadership and survival. For Nnamdi Kanu, the stakes are personal: freedom, legitimacy, and the hope of a political vision. For Ibrahim Traoré, The stakes are national and regional: security, credibility, and the challenge of navigating an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. And for the people of Nigeria and Burkina Faso, and indeed for all of West Africa, the stakes are societal. How will governments respond to claims that could destabilize peace? How will leaders manage the intersection of law, activism, and external influence? How can ordinary citizens maintain confidence in institutions when extraordinary claims circulate so freely? This is the reality of modern African politics. Power is never static. Justice is often contested. And consequences, whether anticipated or unforeseen, can ripple across borders with astonishing speed. As we follow this unfolding narrative, it is critical to separate verified facts from speculation, to analyze motivations, and to consider both immediate and long-term implications. Whether these claims prove true or are later disproven, their existence shapes perception, influences behavior, and challenges leaders to respond with both prudence and decisiveness. And that is why this story matters. Do you believe these claims reflect a genuine intervention, or are they part of a larger narrative designed to test regional loyalties and stir political action? Share your thoughts in the comments.